side here. Maybe we'll see. Okay, sounds pretty good to me. Orientation is locked. Rotate device. All right. Since we can't do it, we're doing it on my tablet this time, so bear with me. Um, I'm going to talk about King Kerzinger's Jason and Freddy versus Jason. I know some people don't like it. Wishing it was Kane Hodder that was going to be Jason and Freddy versus Jason. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because they wanted to go with somebody taller. I heard things that it was Ronnie Yu's doing, and Ronnie Yu says something about it wasn't his doing, and so I have not read the section on Freddy versus Jason and the Chris Lake Memories book, which I do own. I definitely got to get in there and read it, but it was just a bummer that we didn't get Kane Hodder for this film. I thought it would have been really really cool. Uh, if they would have, if Paramount and New Line would have came to terms in uh, '87 with, I think that's when Part Seven of Rise of the came out, we would have had Kane Hodder, no doubt. But fortunately, that didn't come around until 2003, and we got Freddy vs. Jason. It was Kane. It was going to be Kane Hodder. Then they switched over, and it ended up becoming King Kerzinger and Robert Englund instead. So people don't like the King Kerzinger's Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. Like, slow moving. He looks so dumb. He, like this and that. Um, I I actually I actually liked his performance in it. I thought his performance was awesome. Nothing. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. From what I've seen, you got to think too. All the other guys that played Jason, of course, Ari Liam didn't play the killer Jason. He played the child Jason, but you go from him all the way up to Derek Mears, and everybody brought something different with Jason. Everybody did. Uh, we're talking likes of Steve Dash, Richard Brooker, Ted White, C.J. Graham, Kane Hodder, uh, Kerzinger, who also doubled a couple scenes as Jason and Jason Takes Manhattan. It was also the one cook that gets thrown up against the mirror by Jason in that film as well. Then you go to Derek Mears. Um, Everybody brought something different. That was the coolest thing about when there was a Friday 13th film when it wasn't the same person, despite Kane Hodder playing the role for 4 times. Everybody brought something different. I love Richard's portrayal. I love Ted White's portrayal, which I watched the film, the final chapter last night for how many times I've seen that film. Was the 40th anniversary yesterday. It came out in theaters yesterday on April 13th, back in '84. So, and as I'm talking to you guys, you're gonna see the camera angle kind of switch because I'm actually using my tablet to film something a little bit different here. So Ken Kerzinger's Jason, and I actually got to meet Ken Kerzinger at I believe it was Flashback Weekend a couple of years ago. He had quite a line too. He wasn't at his table when we got in there, and then I got everybody else's autograph that I wanted to meet, and then finally he came back to his table. Thank goodness. And I had my Jason Freddy versus Jason Ultimate Jason NECA sign, and that was pretty cool. He'll sign it with the machete and the little blood drops on it and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Real nice guy too. I mean, I really he's really really tall. I can see why they went with him for Freddy versus Jason. They wanted somebody to tower over Robert Englund. Um, the look for Jason and Freddy versus Jason, I love. Some people say it looks a little bit too cartoony. Uh, I don't care. I mean, every time we've seen Jason, you know, in the films, he's always looked different anyway. So, I mean, that was one of those things as well as that, when you get a character like Jason Voorhees, which it's a non-speaking part, um, you're gonna get, you're gonna get uh, di- uh, different people playing that character, you're going to get different incarnations of the character. So the thing is with Ken Kerzinger's, when I met him, I had told him this is one of my favorite Jason portrayals. You know, I mean, I really loved it. I love the film. It's a fun ride. I know there's a whole bunch of drafts out there of Freddy versus Jason and this and that, and but you know, I would have loved to see the Kane Hodder version of Jason in Freddy vs. Jason, but Ken Kersinger to me was awesome. I just loved it. You know, it was more of like a Nightmare on Elm Street film, but just seeing Jason was amazing. You know, of course, yeah, he was slow moving. I mean, they wanted to be slow moving like Frankenstein, you know, but uh, like I said, it was, you know, it's a different take on Jason, just like the ones that came, you know, before it. And then we got Derek Mears in the 2009 reboot, which was a different take on him. So uh, I think a lot of fans should, I think a lot of fans of Friday the 13th or Jason Voorhees in general should be very, very appreciative of Ken Kersinger's portrayal as Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. I personally loved it, man. I thought it was, ooh, this is something different, you know. I mean, the appearance, he's taller, you know. The machete's massive. Just I love the hockey mask too, man. I thought the hockey mask was really, really cool. And not to mention, Paula Shaw would have been a great Mrs. Voorhees. Well, she was a great Mrs. Voorhees. I think she would have been the top pick if they would have done a direct remake of the original film that starred Betsy Palmer as Mrs. Voorhees. You know, we got Nan Visitor for a little bit in 2009, but I think Paula Shaw would have been great. Uh, she was a great replacement for Betsy Palmer, who played the role of Mrs. Voorhees previously. But yeah, I mean everything about Jason in this film, I just love. I mean, it just I can care less what what the haters or whatnot think about the film itself. But you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I can watch this movie over and over again, and not get tired of it. I mean, I just love the atmosphere, everything about the entire film. Even Robert England. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite Robert England's performance as Freddy in this one. My other two favorite my other two favorites were Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and 1. Like I had mentioned last night in the 40th anniversary final chapter, I'm 50-50 on Dream Warriors, but I kind of like it, kind of don't. I mean, but it is what it is. But I mean, I prefer 2 and 1 the most, and Freddy versus Jason. I mean, I think it's a really good comedic timing and stuff like that. What Robert had put into it, and it was Robert England's last time as Freddy anyway. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Ken Kersinger, man. I mean that. I mean, you can't go wrong, and also, you can't go wrong, with how funny the rave scene was. Okay, when Freddy's trying to get, gosh, what is I'm trying to think. Catherine Isabel's character's name in the film. He's trying to get her in the dream world, and Jason ends up getting her uh, on in the real world. So that was pretty. That was pretty epic. That scene right there, and then the first encounter where Jason and Freddy start having their own battle. Of course, it's in the dream world. Freddy's playing with him like a freaking pinball and stuff like that. And the second fight was even awesome. It was awesome because it was basically Freddy being drug out in the real world, and right when Freddy gets drug out into the real world in the one cabin, uh, the way Jason looks and that he looks so pissed. You can tell in the body language and everything else. Yeah, you're in my world. I'm gonna mess you up now, like you did me in the first round. Uh, but yeah, I mean it's you know if I had to look at it, I mean if I had to rate, that's another video I could do. I can rate top my top Jason actors, my favorite ones. It would be very, very tough because I like Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder was more of the unique ones. You had him versus Tina. You had him on a boat going to New York, which most of it was Vancouver, except for the one scene in Times Square where it was actually in New York, and he had him. Uh, he was only partially in it from the beginning and at the end. And Jason Goes to Hell, and the rest of the times he's jumping through people's bodies left and right, and then you get him in space. That was pretty cool too. I mean, that one right there was my favorite one out of the ones that Kane Hodder did for New Line. Or no. That was my favorite one that Kane Hodder did for New Line. I didn't really care much for Jason Goes to Hell, but my favorite one of Kane Hodder's besides Jason X, I'm gonna have to say, and I know Part 7 is awesome because it was his first time, but I would probably have to say I'm going off on tangent about talking about another Jason here, but give me on some Friday 13 topics, man. I mean, I could sit here all day and start talking about them, but I'd probably say Jason X Manhattan would be my favorite one that Kane Hodder did for the Paramount. No offense to Part 7, I love to look for him in Part 7, but there was something like that. And plus, I love Rennie as a final girl too, and a lot of people don't give her a lot of love, but I really love her character. Going back to Ken Kerzinger as Jason, I mean, a lot of great stuff in there. I mean, it's everything from start to finish. Like when you get to this opening start, where it's Robert Englund is they're recapping all the Elm Street films, excluding New Nightmare. And then that ticket is my way. He may get the blood, but I get the glory. And it pans into Jason's mask. It's buried like in the ground, semi-buried in the ground, and you go through the whole one eye hole of it. And all of a sudden, here is Crystal Lake, and the girl's gonna get ready, gonna skinny dip, and the first time we see Jason is right when she's gets halfway dressed, and he's walking so slowly and those big old thumping stomps, and then it's just just awesome. I mean, the atmosphere, the atmosphere and everything, with that. But yeah, I mean, just the way he moved in this, I thought it was good. I mean, it was slow, but it was different. It was just different. It was something different than what we saw previously before, because we had Jason in Part 2, he would run. Part 3, he would run. Part 4, he would run. All that stuff, but this is the undead Jason we're talking about here on Freddy versus Jason. But each of them, when they were walking too, they would walk, they'd run. Back when he was alive, but or human form, whatever we're going to call it. But Keen Hodder's is like the heavy breathing. Then you got C.J. Graham, who came before Kane Hodder, had the Terminator type, military type style of walking. And then you got Derek Mears, which that guy was awesome. I mean, he was the best part of the 2009. The rest of the movie was crap, if you ask me. But there are fans out there that like it. I'm not going to bash you guys for liking Fridays in 2009, but and I'm not going to hate on anybody that does not like Freddy vs. Jason. It's okay if you don't, but I mean, I love it. It's a fun ride. Just seeing Ken Kerzinger, Robert Englund, just do their thing, and to sum this video up, or this live stream up, we should say, I really enjoy Ken Kerzinger's Jason Voorhees performance, and I love Ken Kerzinger's Jason in this film. It is one of my favorites. Definitely very, very unique, and just one heck of a fun time. Just sitting and just watching the film here at home. Back when it came out in 2003, I watched it in theater, and it was it was epic. I mean, it really was epic, because you were wondering what was going to happen in the film, and you wonder who's going to win between both of them. But I won't spoil that at all. Nobody's ever seen the film. I mean, you guys probably already know what happens. But yeah, I mean, Ken Kerzinger, man, just love his Jason. I just love it. I mean, give me some more of it, man. Heck, I don't know, I might watch it tonight or something, or maybe save it for next weekend to watch. But other than that, guys, that is it, man. What did you guys think of Ken Kerzinger's Jason? Did you like it or not?
you already know what I think of it. I thought it was awesome, very very unique. But other than that, that is it. Take care, and this is Oracle signing out.